Hey everyone, this is Michael with a general reading for Libra Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for the month of April 2020. I do hope that this video finds you relatively well and in good health and spirits. And if it doesn't, I hope it offers some tools and resources for whatever challenges or issues are coming up in your life right now during this very difficult time we are going through together. Now, I did actually try recording your video. I actually recorded 6 of them last night, and I ended up losing more than half of them because the audio cut out. So if I seem a little energetically depleted, more than anything else, that's actually probably why. I think I was just trying so hard to pump out all the readings because I felt bad that I was falling behind, and it was really just a lesson that you can't force the energy. Honestly, the readings that ended up not having audio, I think I really didn't feel like they were my best work anyway, and I just have to really honor that flow. I'm just going with the tides here at this point, and I'm trusting that this video is coming in divine timing and reaching the people who need to hear it. Before we actually jump into your reading, Libra, I do want to give a quick shout out to a friend. He is an artist and a teacher. His name is Morning Altars or Day Schildkret. You can actually find him on his social media, and he's offering workshops right now online. He primarily teaches people about his artistic process. He's an impermanent earth artist, and he creates these amazing mandalas and altars with materials that he finds and forages. And he is actually offering these workshops at a fraction of the price online that it would cost to attend in person. So it's actually a really awesome deal. And he just has a lot of amazing posts on his social media, and he also just has a lot of words of wisdom to share, especially during this time. I actually am going to be attending his workshop this Sunday, April 12th. So if you want to join, we can make some altars together. I think it'll be a great time and just a really good way to connect to the world around us. So many of us in isolation are really feeling that loneliness, and I think it's just such a powerful way to reconnect. His workshop is specifically about grief, which I think there's a lot of ways we can kind of interpret grief, and I think there's a lot of collective grief going on right now. And of course, you know, we are losing people that we love. Some of us may be losing people to this virus. Some of us may be losing our jobs or our sense of security. So there's really, I think, a lot to help process there, or there's a lot to grieve there that we can process through this workshop. So definitely check it out. If you can attend, he is offering future workshops as well. He's been doing them, I think, like pretty much weekly at this point. So you haven't missed your chance. And you can also just follow him on social media. I'm sure he would appreciate that. Tell him the Waymaker said hello. And, you know, really a lot of artists and craftspeople and just creatives and performers are really hit so hard during this time. So if you are able to support in whatever way you can, I'm sure they would all appreciate that, and I know Day would appreciate that. Again, all of those links are down below, as well as links for my own personal, social media. I've been posting messages of the day on Instagram and on Facebook. I also have my services, which I'm actually going to be taking some time off from. They will be back April 22nd, and I'll be offering that at a 20% discount, so keep your eyes and ears open for that. And I really am curious to see what comes up for you, Libra. We had a Libra full moon at the start of this month on April 8th, and for me, I was actually really hit pretty hard by it. It's bringing up a lot energetically to bring into balance, and because I'm a Libra rising personally, it really was affecting me, and I think it was telling me that I need to take care of myself before I like keep doing this work, because I've kind of been overexerting myself, to be completely honest with you. And I hate taking time off. It's not something I like to do. I am a Virgo sun, but I'm just seeing it as something that's really, really important, and I trust that it's just going to benefit my audience and my clients. And so if you're just feeling like really exhausted, Libra, don't try and push things through. I learned the hard way. I lost so many of my videos yesterday because I just wasn't in the right energy. So learn from my mistakes. Let's see, what are the messages for Libra? And I do just want to clarify that this is the Black Mirror spread that I started doing last month. So this is actually a psycho-spiritual reading. This quarantine, this lockdown is seeing a lot of disruption in our daily life. And it's a really good time to do the spiritual work, to kind of meditate and reflect. And that's really the emphasis of this reading. It's kind of a deep look at ourselves and our subconscious and the ways that we're sabotaging ourselves that we may not even be aware of, or kind of our own biases or perspectives. So it's a really powerful reading for this time. What are the messages for Libra? And if you don't know your other astrological placements and this video doesn't resonate, you're more than welcome to take a look at my other videos. You can use a natal chart calculator, which I have provided in the description box down below, to figure those out. I actually do feel like moon signs are really good for the Black Mirror readings. And you could either look at last month's, or you can look at the general readings for April and see if anything comes up there for you. I always set the intention for these readings to reach the people who need to hear them the most, and hit that, or reach the widest audience as well. So what are the messages for Libra? Interesting. Libra, I feel like you're really needing to step up in some way and be very direct, because we do have as the overall energy here judgment. And something that's really interesting about this time is, even though our lives have shut down, even though there's a lot of uncertainty and instability in the world, a lot of people are being called to their purpose. And that was actually a theme for last month as well, for March. And I'm seeing that really showing up for you quite strongly. I do feel like we need to kind of keep in mind that even as things change in the world around us, no one can take our emotional and spiritual sovereignty. No one can take our center away from us. Sure, it can become harder to access, it can become harder to reach, but anyone who's watching this video, you have some spiritual tool, some spiritual technique, some spiritual center, or just some core that you're able to reach, and that's going to help you through this time. But I actually see a lot of you, Libra, this transition is part of your purpose. And we're all being majorly redirected in the grand scheme of things here on Earth. And the redirection process may not be very pleasant for years, actually. It could go on for a while. And I'm not saying we're going to be in quarantine or lockdown for years, but we are going to be seeing a lot of changes that take place as a result of this. And we're going to be recovering economically. There's a lot of changes that are going to be happening. And Libra, I don't want you to look at these things like your life has been ruined or destroyed. The people who are actually going to be most successful for 2020, and I've been saying this before pandemic, before the quarantine, are the people who are going to be open to change and willing to let things go, and the people who are really connected to their soul's calling and following their intuition and being adaptable. And you do have a calling here. I actually see, with this 5 of Wands, you're using the people around you to prevent you from answering this call. This is very interesting, and it's almost like it may be because the people around you don't understand what it is you're doing, or maybe they're trying to talk you out of it. And as a Libra, you can get easily swayed by the opinions of others. I get it. I'm a Libra rising. We're always trying to weigh both sides and see things from all these different angles. But I feel like the blind spot here for you is the 7 of Swords in reverse. And it's like you're kind of... If you're trying to work around people and do something behind the scenes because you're afraid of being noticed, I feel like you are going to get caught, just saying. Like, I think you really need to be very open with what it is that you're feeling called to do, and just kind of believe in yourself and believe in that. Because you're avoiding having a conversation with certain people, or you're avoiding this calling because of conversations you have had. And as kind of a peacekeeper, I think it's really hard for you to go forward with something if it's a little controversial. And it could also, this doesn't have to be you doing something. It could actually be you walking away from something or giving yourself some time, some space. And I know that seems crazy because things are so up in the air right now, but we're going to be seeing people make a lot of very interesting decisions. I've already seen it with my own clients, with people in my life, and it may not seem like an opportune time, but that's actually kind of what this spiritual pause is. We're not able to run from ourselves anymore. And maybe with this time that you have, now that you're kind of more isolated from people, you're really getting back in touch with this calling. And what's important for you to embody is this Emperor energy. This very self-assured, self-possessed energy. And I feel like right now, it's actually a really good time for you to step into this purpose, to step into your confidence a bit more. I wonder if that will wane as we start coming out of lockdown or quarantine in the coming months. Or we start interacting with each other more. But honestly, Libra, I feel like you've been putting on a mask and kind of hiding yourself. And you're making it about not wanting to stir conflict. That's kind of the shadow here. That's the subconscious, or the subconscious mechanism here. So I want you to think, doing kind of our shadow work here, I want you to think of the situations where you feel like you have to hide parts of yourself. And really, if we're being honest with ourselves, for most of us, we're always hiding some part of ourselves in some situation or with certain groups of people. It's very rare that we're totally ourselves. But this is coming up as a pretty pervasive pattern for this group of people that are watching this video. And I think it's time to stop sneaking around with who you are, be a bit more direct here. And I want you to really consider, who are you actually serving by keeping the peace? Because a lot of the time we make our decisions about other people, or we filter ourselves for the sake of other people. But if we're really looking at it objectively and honestly, it's because we don't want to deal with their reaction, because we don't feel like we could handle their emotional response, but we make it about them. And it's not necessarily about them. You can let them respond in whatever way they're going to respond. And that doesn't have to disturb you. And I'm not saying like completely cut off emotionally, but that doesn't have to sway you. You can understand why someone is acting the way they're acting or why they have the reaction they're having without surrendering yourself in the process. And that's what I'm seeing is really, really important. And it's like you think you're hiding yourself from other people, but it's actually you hiding from yourself. Because you're afraid of what that would mean in terms of others. And I'm going to be honest, with Saturn in Aquarius, we're seeing a lot of that influence globally right now. I actually do want to make a separate video all about this transit, what it means for the next few years. But it does also pertain to our friendships. And for you, Libra, it's specifically about your joy, your happiness. That's your 5th house sign. And you've had to kind of hide that from people, the things that bring you joy, the things that bring you happiness, that bring you passion. And that's a horrible thing to have to hide. And I really feel like a lot of you, there's this creative thing or this spiritual thing. It feels very non-traditional. Or it has a non-traditional bent to it. And that's why you feel like you kind of have to hide it. But it's like you're playing hide and seek by yourself. And if you live that way, you will feel disconnected from other people. And a lot of people are feeling disconnected already because of isolation, and we're going to see it as even more and more important to be authentic with our people in our lives. And however they respond to you, you know, I think it's not as big of a deal as you're making it out to be. To be honest, I really believe that. And ultimately, it's just about you being yourself and you stepping into your authority, you stepping into your power. And those are all the messages I have for you right now, Libra. I do hope that this reading was helpful. Be sure to hit like and subscribe. It actually does help this channel grow. It helps me able to continue putting out these messages and doing this incredible work, which during this time, I actually am so grateful that I get to be able to do. So thank you all who have supported this channel and, supported me in any way, really. I really do appreciate it. I'd love to hear in the comments down below what is going on for all of you, where you think you're kind of hiding yourself from other people. I'd love to hear. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care, Libra.